is good with y'all? Welcome back to another video. As y'all can see from the title, I'm going to be breaking down another Eastern style sample. This time I didn't really draw any inspiration from any external sources. I basically just drew inspiration from the last sample I made in the last video. By the way, I appreciate everybody that watched that video. That video hit 1,000 views. I don't know how. I'm just starting to take YouTube serious, but I appreciate everybody that watched the video, liked it, shared it. If you did, commented it on any, subscribe from the vid. Appreciate it. But yeah, let's get into the breaking down the layers of this video. Alright, so before we even get into the breakdown, I'm gonna just let y'all know right now, this sample is super simple. I know it's a lot of patterns and stuff like that, but it's basically all the patterns are just taking stuff out and adding stuff back in, nothing too crazy. And for the majority of the sample, I just use two or three sounds for the melodic elements. But for the first layer, I started off with this intro. It's like 3 bars long. It's basically where I just did like a suspenseful kind of walk down into the beginning of the sample. Okay, so I think I basically just went to strings for this, and then I just went, and y'all see it's from Lily Jordy. That's who made it. I don't know, this might be like a Analog Lab preset that comes with Analog Lab. I don't think it's like a custom preset that anybody made. And then this is what it sounds like. Right, so just creating that emotion and that suspense leading into the beginning of the sample. And then for this second pattern right here, I use the same strings. Only thing I did, I just duplicated the MIDI from this pattern into another Analog Lab. And then for the second Analog Lab, I use the Stereotron strings. And this bank is by Paul Schilling. I could be wrong, but I also think this is another Analog Lab default preset bank that came with Analog Lab. And as y'all can see, I have Analog Lab Play. I have the free version. I don't have Analog Lab yet. So yeah, you can import banks if y'all didn't know that. But yeah, this is what the intro, I guess you can call it, or not the intro, but right after the intro into the first section of the sample. This is what it sounds like. Alright, so as y'all can see, I added a couple of extra layers in this first section. The first layer that I added after the strings was the guzheng instrument that I showed y'all from the last vid. It's the decent sample. It's in decent sample, and it's the mono merge preset. And then I just have this MIDI right here. So with this layer, I didn't really add any chords, or not too many chords at least. Y'all see it's only like one chord in it right here. For the most part, I just made this layer just to serve as an accent layer and have little embellishments into the sample. But yeah, y'all see I just have this walk up into the chord. It's just to add, like I said, some accents and some embellishments into the sample. And then I have this strum that's going down. It really adds that flavor, I guess you could call it. You know, when you're making some food and you adding your seasoning, that's what this is right here. This is the seasoning. And then this is some more seasoning right here. You have these little strums, these little rolls in it. I was trying to basically like how I showed y'all in the last vid with where I got my inspiration from, and how there was like rolls in the guzheng patterns. I was trying to go for the same thing, but since this is a plugin and it's not really like I don't have the actual instrument, it was a little bit harder to do that. So I think basically what I just did was I put it on like 1/6 beat or 1/2 step or something like that, and I just made this drum right here, randomized the velocity and messed with it a little bit more after I randomized it, and then came up with this. And I added a second one right here, just to add some more character to the guzheng. And the second layer, or the third layer I added, was this harp. It was just to fill up some space in the low end, a little bit more space, and to add a little bit more rhythm. Since the guzheng doesn't play as soon as we get into the first section, the harp is just adds more rhythm, and it's just a few notes that's just walking up, and this is what this pattern sounds like. And then as y'all see, for this last little bit of this pattern. I have it cut off, and then I did that for a specific reason. So yeah, then after I added the harp, as y'all can see, I added the gong again. You know, like I said, it just adds and it just makes it sound, it gives it a more of that Eastern vibe that I was going for. So I added the gong. It's a tambourine shape. This is also something else I noticed. Like, I don't know if y'all are into anime at all. I'm not really into anime that much. I watched like a couple. One of them was Naruto, and like if you listen to the soundtracks, like when somebody dies or somebody's like in pain or something like that, it's like they have a lot of like tambourines and stuff like that in it. And so I was looking for something like that. I think I went on, what's a website called? I think I went on Looperman, or I can't remember what the other one is called. But I use this tambourine right here just to add some more seasoning, you feel me, to the sample. And then after that, I added this pad. Also, it's from Analog Lab. And basically, I just had it, I created like a pulsating effect with it. So I used Love Filter just to filter it out a little bit, put some reverb on it, to sit it in the background. And then I used Portal to add some movement to it, the second note shape pan. And then cut out some of those lows and highs. And this is what it sounds like. Yeah, pretty simple. I use two pads for this. So I use the pad from Keon's Bank, and then I use another Analog Lab. This one is called Meditation Room. It's either Mac or Keon's, one of Keon's banks. I can't remember which one. But yeah, I added that, and then I created this pattern right here. All right, so this is still a part of the first section. This is just like the second half of it. The only thing I did different from the first half of the first section is I just changed the pattern of the strings. I just added like one more chord at the end, and then this is what it sounds like. Right, so y'all can hear the difference between the first half of the first section and then the second half. Like I said, it was just that one chord that I added. And then for the second section, I took a lot of things out. I just had just the strings only playing. I also kept the this perk right here. I kind of created like a marching effect with that perk, and then I also added the signature taiko drum that I always like to add in these type of samples. And this was that pattern sounds like. Similar to the Guzang, I just added some rolls and stuff like that, just to make it sound more interesting and give that marching effect, just like I did with the perk. And then I also forgot to mention I added this orchestral snare, and I created some rolls with the snare too, also to add that marching effect. And then, or also for the second half of the second section, I took out the snare and I kept the taiko drum pattern, but I also cut it short. So this is what that sounds like. And then from there, I transitioned into the third section. I cut the third pattern, which was the strings. I cut it short and then added this little perk loop right here. I chopped it up, right? I cut the strings and added this perk loop, you know, just to like add that pause for a second and have people like question like, okay, what's about to be next? Is there about to be more, or is this the end of the sample? So yeah, I did that, added this, and then as y'all heard from the preview in the beginning, it transitioned into this third section, and this is what it sounds like. So the first thing I did in this last section is I basically just chopped up the strings from this pattern right here, the last pattern. I just chopped it up and added some effects to it, you know, just to create a different rhythm for it and create a switch up into like a whole nother sample kind of thing. That's what it sounds like. Nothing too crazy at all. So after I chopped it up and stuff like that, the effects that I added to it was just Valhalla Supermassive and EQ, you know, just cutting out frequencies. Same thing on this EQ, just to give it a different texture and put it in a different space in the sample. And then the next thing I added was this Guzang pattern right here. This is a whole new Guzang pattern from before. It's not the same as the other one. I just have this pattern right here. This is what it sounds like. Pretty simple pattern, not too many chords in that one as well. And then the only thing I did different with this, I just bounced it out and pitched it up a whole octave. And the next thing I added was this sound source tone. I think it's from sound source 4. I basically just faded it in and out and then pitched it up 100 cents, and this is what it sounds like. And then right after that, I added this bass pattern. I used the bass one shot from Producer Grind's Wave Lab kit, and then this is what the pattern sounds like. And then next thing I added was this one shot from a multi-key kit. I believe it's Keon, just to add some more accents to this section. And the last thing I added for this section was another multi-key one shot from the same kit, and this is what it sounds like. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for watching the last video. Thank y'all to anybody that's gonna watch this video. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see y'all in the next video. I'm gonna go ahead and play the final sample for y'all. Appreciate y'all for tuning in, for real, for real, for real, for real.